Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and let me tell you about the 3 top self-development books that have had such a great impact on me. The first one, which I stumbled across many years ago, was called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, Napoleon Hill was a journalist and a writer, and he was called in to visit with Andrew Carnegie, one of the richest, most successful business magnates in the world at that time. And Andrew Carnegie invited him in for this interview, and he wasn't sure what it was about. And then Carnegie said, I want you to help me to develop a philosophy of success. I will open the doors to the 500 richest people in America so that you can interview them as many times as you need to, then take all the best information from these 500 people and put it into a series of books to help other young people to be successful much faster. And he said, but the challenge is this. He said, I'm not going to pay you a penny. I'll open all the doors so that you can get all the information and interview all these top people, but I won't pay you a penny. What do you say? And Napoleon Hill had thought this man was going to hire him and pay him an enormous amount of money to do this writing. He was shocked. And he sat there. He tells about it later. He sat there and he thought and he thought and he finally said, okay, I'll do it. And then Andrew Carnegie pulled his watch out from under the desk and he said, you had 60 seconds to give me an answer. You made your answer in 46 seconds. He then went on to open the door to every wealthy person in America, people who had started from nothing and become extraordinarily rich. And what Napoleon Hill did is he took over the years and he found that there were 17 principles that wealthy people had, qualities and behaviors. He found that no one started off with these qualities and behaviors, and he found that they were all learnable. So he wrote a 22-volume set of books on success, which nobody would buy. Then he wrote a 1,000-page book on success, which nobody would buy. And then suddenly the Depression hit, and nobody would buy a success book at all. So in 1936, they took a flyer, the publisher, and they published one small 250-page book called Think and Grow Rich, which became the most successful success book in the history of the world. And I read it over and over again, as have many of the wealthiest people in America. So that's my first one. That's where you would start. Now, my second one would be my own book, Maximum Achievement. Napoleon Hill's book was written in the 20s and 30s. My Maximum Achievement was written for the 21st century. And it shows you how to completely change the way you think, how to set goals in every area of your life, how to dramatically take control of your life in every area and eliminate the negative emotions that hold people back. But it also shows you how to form beautiful relationships with the most important people in your life, how to develop high levels of self-esteem and self-confidence all the time, and many other things. This book is based on my lifetime of study, reading hundreds and thousands of books and articles, putting the material together into seminars, and training more than 1 million people in something like 58 countries on these principles, and then writing it into a book. And so Maximum Achievement and Think and Grow Rich are the right hand and the left hand of success. Now, another book that I would recommend that I have always liked is The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. Norman Vincent Peale, I knew him and I worked with him before he died. He was a minister and he came up with some very interesting ideas about how the more positive you think, the more energy you have, the more grateful you are for the things in your life, the more things that you will have to be grateful for. Just like I teach and other people teach, you'll attract into your life people and circumstances in harmony with your dominant thoughts. So Norman Vincent Peale's idea, the power of positive thinking, has changed an entire generation. You know, the last few decades in America have been the wealthiest decades of any country in the history of man on earth. And it's because these books and other books like them have cascaded like waves. And the people who read the books in the 50s and 60s and 70s, these people have become the movers and shakers and the wealthiest people in our society. So if you want to be like them, number 1, read Think and Grow Rich. Number 2, read my book, Maximum Achievement. Number 3, read The Power of Positive Thinking. Those books will change your life. I've spoken to thousands of people who say literally they went from rags to riches by reading any one of those books. If you read all 3, what a difference it will make. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a comment and subscribe to my channel by clicking on the button that appears on the screen. Hello, I'm Brian Tracy, and I have trained more than 2 million salespeople worldwide in 69 countries. And I want to tell you the three most important qualities of the highest paid, the top 10% of salespeople in 32 industries and probably more. They have three qualities. Number one, and this is based on exhaustive research, top salespeople, top human beings, are ambitious. They have an intense desire to be successful. Now, what does ambitious mean in sales? It means that you want to be the best. It means you want to be in the top 20%, the 20% of people who earn 80% of the money. And if you're in the top 20%, you want to be in the top 10%. You want to be highly paid. You know, if you're truly ambitious, you will really admire people who are successful. Instead of criticizing or complaining like low performers do, you'll look up to and admire and try to be like the very best people. Now, when we say the top 20% of salespeople make 80% of the sales, my discovery, which changed my life as a young salesman, was that everybody who is in the top 20% started in the bottom 20%. And that anything that hundreds of thousands and millions of other people have done, you can do as well. I know many of the top salespeople and the top sales trainers in the world. Every one of them started at the bottom, knocking on doors, cold calling on the phone, or cold calling physically. That's how they got going. And so therefore, if you're struggling at this stage, well, you know that you can upgrade your skills by constantly learning and applying new things. But set as a goal, the goal of becoming one of the top salespeople in your field, and never stop until you do. Now, the second quality of top salespeople is that they learn how to overcome their fears. You see, fear is the greatest single obstacle for success in sales and marketing. Today, there are literally millions of people, tens of millions of people, who are sitting behind their keyboard, sending out anonymous messages, hoping that somebody will buy from them because they're so traumatized at the fear of rejection. So here's the great rule, and the rule is go for no. Seek out the word no as often as you can. Instead of avoiding it or settling for it or accepting it as a punishment in selling, be aggressive about getting people to say no. Because here's what they found. The more no's that you can trigger by calling on people and asking them if you're interested in your product or service, the more yeses you're going to get. There's a direct correlation. I worked with a company some time ago, and we set up a contest. And the contest was every day they would do a trial at the end of the day to see how many people could get how many words no in their prospecting activities. And the person who came back at the end of the day who had spoken to enough people and gotten the greatest number of no's would win a small prize. And they did this every day, every week, and every month. Now, do you know what happened over the course of the month? Is people began to laugh about this. They would go out and they would see how many times they could get people to say, no, I'm not interested. And here's what they discovered. The person who collected the most no's in the course of a day, a week, or a month also was the highest performing salespeople in every field. So here's the rule. In order to get rid of the fear, do the thing you fear, and the death of fear is certain. If you're afraid of rejection, if you're afraid of hearing the word no, go out and use the 100-call method. Call on 100 people and ask them if they're interested in your product. Speak to them personally on the phone or face-to-face. And after you've spoken to 100 people as fast as you can, you'll never be afraid again. And the third quality of top salespeople is that they make a total commitment to success. The 80-20 rule applies. Is the top 20% of people make 80% of the money. But these are the people who dedicated themselves totally to being successful. Unfortunately, most salespeople, the bottom 80%, say, well, I'll try it for a while, and if it works out, I'll stay, and if I make some money in a short while, and if I make a few sales, and so on. So they always mentally have one foot out the door. They're always kind of looking around for something else. But successful people make a 100% commitment to succeeding. They say, I will be successful no matter what it takes, and they just keep working away until they are. And you know something? It's inevitable. If you'll hang in there long enough, you will be successful. Thank you for watching. Now here's a question. What is the one actionable step that you will take based off of what you've just learned from this video to achieve your goal? Leave a comment below. And until next time, remember that only you are responsible for your success, no one else. To achieve a good work-life balance, you must ensure that you are setting goals to cover the three most important areas of your life. These goals must stay in harmony with one another and not be contradictory. Just as a wheel must be perfectly balanced to rotate smoothly, your life must be in balance as well for you to feel happy and effective. There are three types of different goals that you must set in order to achieve personal development and balance. The first types of goals you need are business, career, and financial goals. These are the tangible, measurable things that you want to achieve as a result of your efforts at work. These are the what that you want to accomplish in life. The second types of goals you need are your personal and family and health goals. In reality, these are the most important goals of all in determining your happiness and well-being. These are called the why goals because they are the reasons why you want to achieve your business, career, and financial goals in the first place. They are your true aim and purpose in life. Many people become so involved with their work and careers and their financial goals that they lose sight of the reasons why they wanted financial success in the first place. They get their priorities mixed up. As a result, their lives get out of balance. They start to feel stressed and driven. Sometimes they become angry and frustrated. They need to get their goals back in the right order of priority and realize that achieving work and financial goals are the means to the end of enjoying family and personal goals. They are not the ends in themselves. The third types of goals you require are your professional growth and personal development goals. These are the how goals. Goal setting, learning and practicing new skills and behaviors are how you achieve the what in order to enjoy the why. By working on yourself, you become the kind of person who is capable of achieving your business, career, and financial goals. As a result, you can achieve and enjoy your personal, family, and health goals faster and easier. By working on all three types of goals simultaneously, you will keep your life in balance and continue moving upward and onward. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and share it with your friends. Hello, I'm Tracy, and today I want to talk to you about overcoming your fear of writing a book. This is what you have a burning desire to tell people. You want to help people. You want your children to know about this message. Are you having trouble writing your book or struggling with self-doubt? Maybe you don't know where to begin or how to structure your book or the steps it takes to get published. Here are 15 tips to help overcome your fear of writing and writer's block so that you can become a best-selling author. The key to success is to get started and then keep going. So my first tip is, don't worry if your book isn't perfect the first time. Try not to get caught up thinking about errors in your book. Your goal should be to get all of your ideas down and finish your thoughts before you go back and edit. Remember, all books are written in the edit, so don't worry about the first run-through. This mindset will free you up to be creative and to enjoy the writing process. The second tip to overcome your fear is to stop thinking about what other people will think. Don't worry about what others will think of your writing or your book. What matters is that you get your message out and on paper. Tip number 3 is to create time for yourself to write. Some people will create an excuse that they don't have any time to write. But if you want to write a book, you must create a block of time every single day reserved only for writing. Another important tip is to know who you're writing for. When you know exactly who your audience is and who you are writing for, you'll be able to speak to your ideal reader easily in your writing. First, define who your target audience is, and then do your research. if needed, to find out what their needs and interests are. Then appeal to those needs and interests in your writing. Tip number 5 is to outline your book before you begin. Having a strong outline gives you a clear sense of purpose and direction. It also helps you to see the end and know what you want the main takeaway of your book to be. If you're stuck, I offer book outline templates to help you get started. My next tip is to break down your writing into chunks. Don't think of it as eating an entire elephant at one time. Instead, break up your writing into bite-sized portions. Write one chapter at a time, or do a section every day. I have known top writers who've written 1 page a day for maybe 200 or 300 days in a year and become excellent writers as a result. Also keep in mind that you don't have to write your book in sequential order as long as your book gets done. You can write the beginning at the end and write the end at the beginning, and then organize the material later on. My 7th tip to overcome your fear of writing is to write often, even when you don't want to. One of the best ways to overcome your fears of writing is to write 1,000 words a day. The key to writing a book is to just start. It's one thing that you cannot get worse at by doing. Tip number 8, save editing for the end. When you edit during the writing process, it can hinder your creative flow. I will often write down my thoughts for my books without interruptions or editing all the way. Then get all the information out of your head and onto paper first. Then go back and edit later. My next tip is to free yourself from distractions. It's easy to become distracted, especially when you are nervous about how your writing will turn out. If you need to seclude yourself in a quiet area, you should do it. Free yourself of distractions and just write. Tip number 10 is to rid your mind of the fear of failure. Rather than focusing on fear and why you can't write a book if you haven't done it before, focus on the future and the rewards that writing a book will have in your life. Think continually about what you want, not about the things you fear. Another tip to overcome your fear of writing a book is to stay organized. Organize your material into 7, 10, 12, or 21 chapters, each following in a logical order from beginning to end. Thinking in terms of a number of chapters forces you to decide what will be contained in each chapter and how each of the chapters will be organized in relation or in connection to each other. My next tip is to know when you're finished. Know when it's time to put a bow on your work. You must be able to tell yourself that your work is as complete as it can be, rather than obsessing over small details. Tip number 13 is to become an expert in your area. Continuously expand your knowledge on the subject that you're writing about. If you have fears of becoming an author, expand your knowledge first. Buy, read, and find out everything you can about other authors, books, or articles dealing with the same subject. Make sure that your material is different and better than other people writing in your field. The more comfortable you are with your subject, the easier it will be to craft and write your book. In fact, they say that to write a good book, you need to know 10 words on the subject for every word you write. So continually be reading on your subject so that when you do start to write, you have lots and lots of material to work with. The 14th tip is to craft your message first. You must know what message you want your entire book to convey, and then you can write it. This is what you have a burning desire to tell people. You want to help people. You want your children to know about this message. And my 15th and final tip to overcome your fear of writing is that it's never too late to start. One of the greatest books in history is the second part of Faust, written by Wolfgang von Goethe when he was 84 years old, and it's still studied in all the universities. So if you're worried that it's too late to start writing, it's not. The first step is to just write. To help you get started and keep going until your book is in publisher's hands, download my 20-step author quick start guide, which will give you a recipe to write a book on any subject. Now, I'd love to hear from you, so my question today is this: which tip will you put into action to overcome your fear of writing a book so that you can become a best-selling author? Leave a comment below, and I'll be sure to follow it up with you. Thanks for watching, and remember, if you want to change your future, take action, and take action now. If you enjoyed this video and feel it was valuable in teaching you about overcoming your fear of writing a book, subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share this video with your friends. Don't forget to click the button on the screen for a free gift. Thanks again for watching.